Okay, I guess everyone can hear me now, so I'll go to the next slide, which is the disclaimer. I have to do this for my lawyer. Option trading is not suitable for everyone. There's no explicit warranty or guarantee with the software. There are special risks, risks inherent to options trading. We're not liable if you make a mistake. We'll fix all bugs. And this presentation is for information purposes only and is not a solicitation to buy or sell anything except the software. Okay, so for tonight we're going to go through what's new in Option Workbench 2.0, of a little introduction to what we're going to see, the live demonstration, a wrap-up, and then the question and answer period. Who am I? I'm Craig Hilsenrath. I earned a BS in computer science and a minor in math back in 1984. That makes me older than I really care to admit. I worked as a software engineer on Wall Street for various firms for a long time. I began trading stocks in the late 80s and options in the late 90s. And I'm a strategy zone power user and a graduate of the illustrious Macmillan mentoring program. So what we're going to talk about today is the changes in Option Workbench. Primarily, we try to make better use of the screen real estate to facilitate the chart usage. So if you're working on, like some people work on their desktop computer and then work on their laptop, and on a laptop there's not a very good use of the screen real estate, so we try to address that. We made it easier to access historical data, and we'll see that as part of the demonstration. Streamlined many of the spread builders, so it makes it easier to put the positions in for your analysis. But the three main topics for this presentation are the enhanced filter formula management, and that includes being able to name a formula and centrally storing the formulas on the Option Workbench cloud, so that if you use more than one computer, your formulas will be, you can use them anywhere and everywhere on any computer that you use, even if you've never used that computer before. We've got a really excellent new chart called the Price Composite IV Trend chart. It's very useful in looking at trends in the past and trying to decide, given similar market conditions, what may happen today, and determining what positions you might want to put on. And then finally, there's a new backtesting system where you can put hypothetical positions on in the past and play forward and see how they performed over time. And without further ado, we'll go to the live demonstration. Okay, so here's the dashboard screen that everyone's familiar with. The first thing that you notice is the histogram. The IV percentile histogram is now 2 colors. It draws your eye immediately to where the mean is, so you can tell where the mean of the histogram is and where the options are, whether they're cheap or expensive. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. If I go to an option profile, you can see that we got rid of the that long line where you type the formulas. And if I click on this filter button, you'll see this icon in a lot of places. And what this indicates is that there's a window, another window that you can look at that has more information. So if I click on that, what scrolls down is the filter formula management panel. Okay, and you can see here that I have, excuse me, I have 4 filter formulas. One that I've named expensive options, one that I've named pre-earnings rush, post-earnings crush, and cheap options. And again, if I click on that, I see what the formula is, and click apply to apply the formula, and the window disappears, and the formula is applied, and the filtering happens. Okay, if I click on that again, I can switch to another formula. Another new feature that we've added in a lot of places is this copy icon. So I can take a formula, make a copy of it, and here you see I have now copy of expensive options, and I can change that. Maybe I want this one to say, a skew of 10%. And click apply, and then I have a new formula. So it's easy to start with something and make different versions of it so you can change it around a bit. And as with anything, if I click on the X, it disappears, and then I can pick another one. If I want to go back to everything, I can click Show All, and I'm back to the beginning. And then another new feature is this help screen. If I click that, and this works in any of the spread profiles or the option profiles. There's a description of what's in this page, and then if I scroll down, I can see how to build a formula. So to add a new formula, I'll type a name in the name panel, click the Add button or the Enter button, and now I'm ready for a new formula. So the first thing I can do is click and now I want an expression list. So I can highlight that. You can, of course, you can type, but sometimes it's easier just to click the buttons. So if I click on less than, now I have a less than expression, and I'll scroll down and say I want the IV percentile to be less than the mean IV percentile. So you can do the pointing and clicking, and once you're done, you can click apply, and you've got your new formula. And then I can go back and click another one. So the help screen is on all the different pages. What will happen is that if you use more than one computer, the first time that you open Option Workbench, the new version, all the filters that you have previously built on that machine, on that computer, will come up here, and it'll assign a name. So in this case, it would be Equity ETF Filter 1, Equity ETF Filter 2, so on and so forth. And then once you use the new version, those filter formulas will be saved to the Option Workbench cloud. And then you can give them names. I can change, so I can change the name on new formula. I'll call it test formula, and now the name will be changed. So that's how you change the name. When you go on to another computer, it'll load your saved formulas up from the Option Workbench cloud and load the new ones with the assigned names. And if you have duplicates, you'll have to just figure out which one that you want to keep, and then you can just delete it or combine them or something like that. One other good thing about this this format is I kind of like putting the formulas in this way so that I can see one thing on a line. Makes it a little bit easier to read, so that so you know more about what's going on there. Okay. So now we'll dig into the next part, and I've picked everybody's favorite stock, Apple. When I click on a stock now, I go to the analysis dashboard. So any stock, ETF, index, or future will have this dashboard with these icons of the charts on there. So you see they have the volatility study, the put-call ratio, volatility smile, and the pricing sheet. If I click on the put-call ratio, we've added the weighted ratio. So it defaults to the weighted ratio. I can change that to the standard, or I can look at both. So you have the closing price and both put-call ratios if you're so inclined to use put-call ratios. The links on top will get you back to any other of the panels. So if I click on Volatility Smile, it takes me to the Volatility Smile for that day. And if I'd like to go to the volatility study so I can talk a little bit more about the new chart, which is the price implied volatility trend chart. Now you'll notice that there was a tab on the bottom with the two tables, which you can get at by clicking on one of these windows. I haven't selected any dates, so there are no details there yet. And then if I click on the volatility statistics, I have that statistics panel. And these are fully interactive. If I change to 2 years, I wanted to change the study length. That changes the historical volatility. Okay, and now I can click add days to the details in two different ways. I can just go to the chart and find the date that I'm interested in and click on it. So now that's marked, and it's also in the detail panel. And then I can go back to other dates. Let's go back to October 25th, because that was an earnings date. I'll pick the 26th. And then I'll do one more, July 25th. I'm just waiting for the screen to catch up with me here. Okay, there we go. So you can see you have all the details from the chart on this panel here. And the advantage of this is it gives you much more room to look at the chart and look at the trends on the chart. And if you look in the lower left corner here, there's a little window that gives you the values as you scroll through the chart. Okay, so now let's look at the price composite IV trend chart. If I open that up, what you see here, this is more affectionately known as Mr. Bubbles. What you see here, the bubble represents the center of the bubble is the price on the date, and the size of it is the composite implied volatility relative to the largest composite IV that you're looking at. So on this date, Apple had the largest composite IV, and this was a little bit less, and this one was a little bit less. But where this chart really comes in handy is looking at dates in the past, or looking around the date in which you're interested. So if I click on this spinner here and do -1, I add a day to it. I see what the bubble looked like the day before. So I can see that on October 26th was the day after the earnings announcement. The earnings was October 25th. The price was $5.97, and the composite IV was 27.5. The day before, the price was $6.03, and the composite IV was 34.71. And you can do dates in the past, dates in the future. So let's say I want to see what it looks like a week before. I can click a week. I can do 2 weeks, and I can do months. So I'll see what it looked like a month before. Now, from this chart, you can get a really good idea of how the price of Apple and the composite implied volatility behaved leading up to the earnings announcement. One thing you can see from looking at the bubbles, it looks like the composite IV spiked or peaked a week before the earnings. So here's the day before. It's 44.33, and the week before it was 50. Same here. It's higher the week before, just by a little bit, and on this one too. Now, as with anything in Option Workbench, the purpose is you start at a high level and you drill down. You peel back the onion to see what things look like at a different level. So with the composite IV gives us a general idea of what the volatility, the implied volatility looked like. But we probably want to see what the skew looked like itself, what the smile looked like. So if I click the smile gallery link, Option Workbench will go to its database and download the volatility smile data for each one of the days that we have selected here and display that in a chart. Okay, just waiting for the internet to catch up. Here we go. So now we can see these are the volatility charts for each one of those days. So here on June 25th, this is what the smile looked like. And we can see that these July 28th options, they didn't really come on until that week. But if we look at the July 14th, they also experienced a little bit of a push up. And then you can scroll through each and look at each period. So it gives you an idea of what you might be looking at for each period. To get back to the chart, we click the arrow in the upper left, and that brings us back to the chart. And then to close that, we can click that button, and we get back to the volatility study. So another thing, we can look at the details. We can tie this into the back testing. We look at the details. I can either click on a bubble here or on one of the charts in the smile, but I'll click on this bubble because I want to see what if I put a strategy on that's long vega a month before. How does that behave leading up into the earnings announcement? So what I'll do is click on that bubble. Okay, and now it's loading the data, all the details for that day. And I come right to what the skew looked like on that day, on December 24th. I have the pricing sheet and the full scenario spread analysis. And I can switch days by clicking on here, and I have a list of my days. I can go to the today's data if I want, and then go back to December 24th. And if you pick multiple days, you can go back and forth. I can see what the option profile looked like on that day. And again, the idea is to give you room to look at the charts. So we see Apple was at 520, was in the 90th percentile, even though I guess that was a low day. It went higher than that actually. And we have all the implied volatility data here. So let's, for argument's sake, say I want to put on a long straddle just to see what would happen if I did that, because I know the volatility is going to go up, and I could benefit from putting on a long straddle. And the earnings was the 26th, so I'll pick that. Click on the straddle. Give myself some room here. The earnings date was the 24th. Well, I'll just do it. Okay, now to do the back test, I can click the back test button, and you can see that Option Workbench is now gathering the data. While it's doing that, because depending on how many days you have, it could take some time, you can go do other things. I can click on the February data. I can go look at another issue while I'm waiting. And when it's done, which it is now, a show report link comes up, and I can click on that link, and then in my trusty web browser, which will pop up in a second, I'll see the report. Here we go. It was on the other screen. Okay, so this is what a backtest report looks like. It gives you the option profile data for the date, the chart that you wanted, and then for each day from the trade date until the near-term expiration or a date that you pick on the chart, it will tell you what the price of the stock was, the implied volatility of your spread, and what your unrealized P&L was, your margin, the return, and all your Greeks. So we can see this one is not really a very good choice, but we could compare it to something else that might have been better. Let's see. We could look at if we go back to the volatility study. Well, we can see that this stayed pretty much in the range. So something that you might consider would be like doing a calendar spread, sell the weeklies against that January 26th option. But there are a lot of avenues available for the back test. I won't go through everything right now, but that pretty much covers all the new features. And I went through it kind of quickly. So what I'll do now is open up for questions and see if people have any questions. Stan, I might need your help here. I don't know if I'm going to see the questions. Oh, by the way, Stan from Macmillan Analysis, the mentoring program, the head of the mentoring program, is riding shotgun for me here tonight. Hopefully he'll be able to see your questions and let me know. Okay, he sees them. He's going to send them to me. Okay, while I'm waiting for that, I'll go back to strategy analysis and we can look at some of the new spread builders. So, for example, all the vertical spreads show you a list of the option of all the spreads that you could buy. You can change the expiration date and the range, and it changes the list, and then you can simply add it, and it shows your spread there. Okay, here's a question. Does the backtest show the option price change from day to day? The price change, no, it shows the underlying change and the price. There's more than one option in this spread, so I'm not sure which options you want to show. Is the fat tail distribution now available? No, not yet. We haven't put that in there yet. Okay, the help screen. Someone asked about the help screen. If I go back to the filter, I put in a formula or click the show formula button. Okay, and then on the bottom left corner of the editor here is a help button, and I click the help button and it comes up. Okay. Okay, do I have a tool for trading the weeklies, ETFs, and stocks? There's a watch list that contains the weekly everything that trades weeklies in it. It's under shared watch lists. Okay, so this has all the weeklies, and if you're interested in the weeklies, what you can do is use the enlist function. These questions are scrolling by me here. Hold on. so let's say my test formula, I'm interested in what's in the weeklies. I'm going to give this a new format here. I can use the, I'll use the help. There's a function called enlist. So if I click on enlist, it puts the expression in there, and I just want to change it to the list name. Weeklies, I'll put the comma in, whoops. And then I'll click apply. So now I have, the cheaper options that are in the weeklies list. Okay, hold on. So this is another question, how to use it to find opportunities. This is how you would use it. Actually, I use the earnings for the post-earnings crush. I use the enlist function to find things that have expensive options where the earnings are coming up. So we're in the March earnings period, and I use that. So there's a few things coming up, Deckers and CRM, Gap. I think that might have been today. Okay, many titles and data. Okay. Well, you can, if wanted to know if you have an option for full screen, you can, click on your windowing system to make it full screen. I'll do that on here. I'm running this on a Mac, but you just click the right window on your Windows machine, or the right button. Is all the data including the price option workbench? No, all the data is included in the price. The 2.0 release will go out Saturday. We didn't want to do it in the middle of the week, so it'll be available starting Saturday afternoon. This webinar and other webinars are recorded and available on the Strategy Zone website, and they'll also be available on www.optionworkbench.com. We're also working on tutorial videos that will go over in detail, how to use the formulas, how to put dates on the volatility charts, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so we're working on the video tutorials. Okay, so someone asked, how do you get the data? Is it real time? Right now, we don't have real time. We've been looking into it. The real-time data is very expensive, and it's a little bit prohibitive. So what we decided to do was to work with brokers and integrate Option Workbench into brokers and piggyback off their real-time data. So I don't have any announcements yet on that, but we're speaking to them, and we're working on that. Hopefully it'll happen this year. Is there anything specific for trading VXX options similar to what McMillan described before? Well, the VXX is on here. There's nothing specific about VXX. You can trade. So anything that Larry described, you could trade on here, or you could model in here. One thing I will say, since you brought up the VIX, it's not. I mean, this is VIX ETF. Option Workbench is one of the only places where you're going to find the correct Greeks and implied volatilities for the VIX options. The actual VIX options are they're not priced off the index itself. They're priced off the futures. So while I'm here in the futures, actually, there are a couple more features that I can show. If you click on a future, you'll see the term structure of that future. If you click on the future column, okay, and then if you click on the future complex column, it'll switch to, you'll see all the term structures for all the futures in that complex. Okay, so these are all the currencies. Let me go back to the to the VIX. So a lot of the brokers, let's go to the June contract, won't even let you trade it because they don't really even price it right. Someone asked if the real time would be laggy if we piggybacked off the brokers. Not really. I mean, if you run software on your machine, on your computer that's hooked to the broker, you're piggybacking off that same feed. So it wouldn't. I don't think it would be any slower than the any software that the broker gives you. Okay, so here's a question. Tomorrow is a big first day of the month. If markets go up a lot, the vol will drop on the puts and rise on the calls. So an increase in vol will be better to do a vertical call spread and a debit. Okay, this is a specific spread question. Well, we'll have to take that one offline when I can look at that more closely. For market maker strategies, option markets applicable for scanning the breadth. Well, you can do a lot of different types of scans. Basically, you're starting at that high level. One new scanning feature that's in the pipeline, I'm not really sure when it's going to be released, is once you've narrowed down your universe, you could look at the options for each of those names and find a horizontal skew between the front contract and the next contract. That gets kind of tricky because some of these things have weeklies, and there's a lot of different. The weeklies go on and off. They have different strikes that go on and off. Some of them have these $half strikes now, and they're only in one specific expiration. I won't even say month anymore because now there's expiration weeks. So the scanning the actual options gets a little bit more tricky now. I bet the people were hedging the SPX portfolio heavy were buying the front month VIX options before today. Yeah, VIX did go up a little bit today. It's been hovering up pretty high. It spiked up to 19 on the other day, and then came down. So just my humble opinion, I'm not really a believer in this rally yet, but that's just me. Backtesting question: can you see day-to-day change in option price on a single leg? No, not right now. No, the like a short put. Now it just shows the underlying price. You don't see the actual option price. I mean, it shows the implied volatility, so you can kind of figure out what how the price is moving based on the implied volatility also. I seem to be stalled here. Someone asked if there's a week or two free trial. We're offering a special for attendees of this webinar, a buy 1 month and get 1 month free for the current price of $59.90, which is the price is going up as of when the new release comes out. It's going to be $125 a month if you do the auto renew, and if you do a year up front, you get 11 months. You get 1 month free for the year. So, but the buy one get one free is at the old price of $59.90. So that's basically getting it for a quarter of the price that you have now. I'm not really sure why the website is not responding now. Okay, well, let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so you have the buy one, get one free. Let's see, we get the new version. Yes, you get the new version for the promotion. You can, to get the promotion, you can log on to the Option Strategist website, optionstrategist.com/OWB, and you'll see the promotion there. The first 10 people to sign up will get a free 1-hour one-on-one live tutorial, so we can get into details and of what you really want to do. Let's see, data end of day is free. Yeah, we're looking, somebody mentioned a vendor for end of day data. We're looking at that also. I kind of would rather have the real-time data. Some of the end of day data doesn't give you the bid and ask prices. It's just for the options. Most of them give you open, high, low, close, which is not really that useful because not every option is going to trade every day. So you might be dealing with an old price, an old trade price, but the bid and ask are always going to be set correctly. And then finally, I want to also mention the mentoring program. A lot of these questions that we're getting could be answered by Stan in the mentoring program. So I highly recommend giving Stan a call. And finally, here's our contact information. You can reach me anytime at support@hilcosoftware.com, or if you log on to the Option Workbench website, the tutorial videos are all there. And you can also get answers to questions by looking at optionstrategist.com. Okay, I guess the questions are slowing down now. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. I'll leave this contact information up here for a little bit, and feel free to send an email anytime you like. Thank you again.